Hi, everybody. Jean Humbrecht with Humbrecht Law, criminal and traffic defense attorney in Manassas, Virginia. Welcome to my weekly local business spotlight. Today, I am joined by Tara OBrien from Scout and Cellar Clean Crafted Wine. I'm very excited about this presentation because Tara has a lot of very interesting information to share with us, and we've never had a presentation all about wine before. So first I'm going to tell you a little bit about the company, and then I'm going to turn it over to Tara. So we're doing this today actually because March 3rd is apparently National Mulled Wine Day. And I had all these big plans and I was going to buy all these ingredients and make mulled wine live on Facebook, and it just didn't happen. So anyway, Tara OBrien is an integrative nutrition health coach and an independent wine consultant. Have you ever thought about what's really in your wine? Well, I haven't until I started learning about this company. The FDA requires labels on your food, but not on your wine. So let's talk about wine. What's in wine, how to make a healthier choice, and what Tara likes calling choosing a nicer vice. And of course, let's talk about some delicious varieties of wine. So Tara, at this point, I'm going to turn it over to you to tell everybody a little bit about yourself and the company and how you got involved with them in case people have not heard about it before.
Great. Thank you so much. I love being here, especially on National Mulled Wine Day. What a better day. So I am Tara OBrien, and I am an integrative nutrition health coach. And that led me to the wine company. Basically, as a health coach, I'm always interested in finding things that are better for you, better products for us to be eating, better products for our skin, everything. So when I found out about this wine company, I thought, this is amazing. I love that this wine doesn't have any of the chemicals and additives and added sugar that traditional wine has. So that's what Scout and Cellar is really all about, is just going back to the traditional winemaking of just using the grapes and the smallest amount of sulfites. What people don't realize is that the FDA actually approves over 250 chemicals and additives that can be added to your wine. And commercial vineyards are not required to let you know that. So you don't know that when you get purple teeth from drinking red wine, that it's not from the grapes. It's actually from an additive called Mega Purple. And Mega Purple is about 68% sugar, and then it's used for coloring and flavoring. And we don't need that. I mean, nobody needs extra sugar in our wine. I mean, if we're going to have sugar, we want chocolate, right? We don't want it in our wine. So it's kind of crazy that you can go into the grocery store and pick up a bottle of wine and assume that you're getting just grapes in there. But 9 times out of 10, you're not, unless you're looking at really small craft wineries. They're really the ones that are doing it the right way. These large companies, they just have to make money, right? So they're going to use whatever they can to stretch the grapes that they have, but also because they want you to have the same experience year after year. And that's just not realistic with grapes because, the different temperatures, the different things that are grown on the vineyard, all those things are contributing to the flavor of those grapes. So you can't really expect to have the same wine year after year, but these large commercial vineyards, they want you to have that same experience. So they'll add colorings and additives and flavorings so that you get that same experience year after year when you go and grab that bottle of wine. You know what to expect. Whereas that's just not realistic. We also say that the way that they pick the grapes is also very different. So ours are all handcrafted. So they are picked by hand or very lightly machine picked. And we pick them either early in the morning or late at night. So they're not sitting out in the sun fermenting. That's the problem with these large commercial vineyards. They'll get a machine to come through and pick all the grapes. And then they sit at the end of the row, getting the heat on them, start to ferment, grow bacteria. So then these companies have to add what I like to call wine antibiotics so that they can kill the bacteria, because obviously you don't want bacteria in your wine. Mm-hmm. And they have to do that because that's just the scale that they're working on, and that's what they do. So we wanted to prove that there's a better way to do it, that you can go back to the traditional way of making wine and just have the grapes and the smallest amount of sulfites, which is what we do. And Scout and Cellar was created about 3.5 years ago by a woman who was an attorney, and she decided that she wanted to leave her law career behind because she loved wine so much. So, Jean, I don't know, maybe.
We'll see.
She loved wine so much she wanted to become a sommelier, but then she started getting debilitating headaches. And she thought, oh, this is great. Left my law career, and now I have terrible headaches and can't drink wine. And what she came to find out after about a year of research and going to different doctors was that it actually wasn't the wine itself. It was the additives and the chemicals that were in the wine that were actually causing the trouble. So Sarah, who's our founder, likes to say chemicals belong in your pool, not in your wine. And couldn't agree more, right? Because we don't need to be drinking chemicals. We have enough chemical exposure in our lives as it is, and we don't need it.
Yeah, and we all know other products that have chemicals in them, which I won't name, but I always thought that if I had a glass of red wine, it was, the healthiest option out of all the alcoholic options that there was out there, but apparently not, unless you really know what kind of wine you're drinking.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, the health benefits of the red wine, of course, you're going to get the resveratrol, you're going to get the antioxidants, which is great. But if you don't know exactly what else is in there, you could be, drinking chemicals and pesticides that are not really helping out your body and not really giving you the benefits of that resveratrol that you wanted, because those chemicals are fighting it.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea. I also had no idea that the purple that people get on their lips and teeth was from chemicals. I just assumed it was from the wine.
Yeah, we all thought that. And, I think even myself, I find it crazy that as a trained health coach, I was not aware of that. They teach you about how alcohol processes in your body, but they didn't teach me about what was really in wine. It wasn't until I was introduced to Scout and Cellar that I understood that all these chemicals and pesticides were in our wines without our knowledge. And to me, like, what I love to do is educate people, right? Because when we know better, we can do better. And that's part of the thing about Scout and Cellar. We're really trying to educate people on making a better choice for themselves. Obviously, we want you to enjoy the delicious wine as well, but let's enjoy one that's actually going to be good, of lots of good antioxidants and good things for us, and leave the chemicals on the side.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I really am shocked. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's shocking to know that, these vineyards are not required to let us know.
And why aren't they required to let us know?
Probably because there hasn't been enough lobbying against it, or for it or against it, probably. Right now, I think they do it because they say they have to make money, and to make money, they need to be able to use these additives. And they probably think that most people wouldn't pay attention to that in the labeling. So there's a big debate right now about whether there should be labeling, but so far there isn't. But like, one thing I like to tell people is, when you have a bottle of Scout and Cellar wine, you know exactly what's in there, because we lab test it 2 times, actually, when we get the grapes, and then after it's fermented, we test it again to make sure that there's absolutely nothing in there. And only about 15% of the grapes that we are presented with are actually accepted, because even a grower who does all organic farming might get runoff from another nearby farm, which gets glyphosate into their grapes by no fault of their own,
Right.
but just by their proximity. But we want to make sure that we don't have anything in our grapes, in our wine, except for just the grapes. That's really important to us, and the lab testing assures that.
So I want to ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
First, you mentioned the founder, Sarah, and that she was getting headaches. So that was not from the alcohol. It was and it was not from the sugar. It was from the chemicals.
It was from the additives that were in the wine.
Now, is that common for most people? If they get headaches from drinking alcohol, it would be from the chemicals, or could it be from the alcohol itself or the sugar?
I mean, obviously everybody's different of why they get headaches from it. But we say that people who typically have adverse reactions to wine, either headaches or stomach upset or things like that, traditionally do much better on our wines.
Okay.
I can say personally, I could not drink white wine for the last 15, 20 years. Couldn't drink it. I would have the smallest amount, like this much wine, and I would get a massive migraine. But I can drink any of the Scout and Cellar wines with no trouble whatsoever.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to have to try that wine. But one thing I wanted to go back to, you said you are an integrative health coach.
Yes.
So can you tell people, what that is and, what you did with that prior to working with Scout and Cellar?
Sure. So essentially, I was trained to look at people holistically and look at not only like what you're eating, but what's going on in your life, because obviously your stress levels, your career, your finances, that all impacts what you're eating. So I try to help people do more intuitive eating, like really listening to what's going on with your body when you eat certain foods. Everybody has a different reaction to different foods. Some foods are good for you, some foods are bad for you. And obviously we know the good and the bad, but there are even some good foods for you that might not process in your body the right way.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like to help people intuitively think about, okay, how am I eating? What is my body reacting to? And it's kind of similar with the wine. When you're drinking it, how are you reacting to it? How is your body processing it? It's, we have to listen to our cues, and there's just easier ways to do that. A lot of people just think, oh, if I get an upset stomach, they don't connect the dots.
Mm-hmm.
So, or if you get tired after eating a meal, you just think you're tired. Well, it actually could be that you don't process carbohydrates properly. So it's
Mm-hmm.
understanding exactly what's going on and listening to your body to figure out what the best way to eat is.
Yeah, that's really interesting because like sometimes like if my stomach hurts, I'm like, oh, what did I eat today? And I'm like, oh, I didn't eat anything that weird, but I mean, it could have been anything, the carbs, the milk, the yogurt, anything.
Yeah.
Or mixing together, maybe, I don't know. But I know I have sensitivities to bananas and avocado. I mean, and they're good for you, but I can't eat them.
So it's possible, like maybe you have like a potassium issue because those are really high in potassium. So maybe your potassium levels are high or something. But, it's like you can dissect everything, by doing a food diary and really,
Mm-hmm.
doing elimination diets, things like that. But there's definitely ways that you can do it. I mean, now there's even, DNA tests that you can take to tell you how your body processes foods. I actually recently had one done, which was really interesting. But the funny thing is, it just confirmed what I already knew. So you don't even really need that. Like, I'm like, yep, okay, I knew that.
Because you did the elimination diet?
Yeah, just because I've just done a lot of different things, eliminating things, adding things back, and just listen to my body and
Mm-hmm.
knowing how things work for me, or like, knowing what exercise works for me versus what exercise isn't enough for me. Everybody has a different exercise need. So it's understanding all those things and putting them together so that you're living your best life, basically.
I didn't even think that there was an exercise that was better for you than other exercises. I mean, sometimes I'm just like, oh, that was a killer workout, or my body's really sore, and oh, I don't want to do this one because it's painful when I do it. But I never really thought that there was something that was better for me to do that maybe wouldn't be better for you. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, there absolutely is. Some people do better with, more like yoga exercises. Some people do better with HIIT cardio. Some people do better with a longer period of cardio. It's just, again, you got to listen to the cues of your body and understand what works for you. I mean, like if you're doing an intense, heavy workout and then you're so tired that you can't even, get up afterwards, well, that's not a good workout for you. That's too much for your body. So understanding that, you might need different things, and it changes as you age too. I mean, we could have a whole other discussion about how menopause and perimenopause affects women and how their exercise needs change and their food needs change. It changes as your body's changing.
Wow. I'm really learning a lot here.
I'm glad.
We need to talk offline probably about because I'm interested about this workout thing, because sometimes I'm like, oh, that was nothing. And other times I feel like I'm dead and it's the same amount of time. I don't know. But we can come back to that. We're talking about wine. You do the workout so you can drink the wine, right?
That's right.
So where can people buy the wine? Is it available in a store or do they have to go through you?
So Scout and Cellar is only available through independent consultants like myself. It is not available in the grocery stores. So it's best to work with a consultant, and we can always make recommendations. And the one thing I always say about people is I love to help them work out what they would like, because our wines are very different in some ways. So I can give an example of a Chardonnay. Like, some people think either I hate Chardonnay or I love Chardonnay, right? It's one of those ones where you're not usually in the middle.
Right. Yeah, I don't care for it.
Well, you see, I am one of those too, that I don't care for traditional Chardonnays, but we have some Chardonnays that I absolutely love, because they're not that oaky, buttery Chardonnay that most you think of for Chardonnays. So you get that oaky, buttery in some, but then we have stainless steel barreled ones, which really come across more like a Sauvignon Blanc. So those I actually enjoy, because they taste a little bit more crisp and less oaky, buttery. So I'm always telling people, make sure you know how it's barreled, because that's important. And actually, that just leads me to one other thing, which I should tell you, because I think most people don't know this either, is that wines are not all vegan. You would think, okay, wine, it's got to be vegan, it's just grapes. But most commercial vineyards, they actually either use egg whites or fish byproducts to filter their grapes. And that's just the way that they do it in commercial vineyards. We do not do that. So ours, we can say, are vegan because we do not use egg whites or fish byproducts in our filtering process. We actually use clay. I see from your face that you're disgusted.
Yeah. I didn't even think vegan. I just thought grapes and sugar. That's yeah, wow.
But I mean, it's important for people to know that, because let's say you have, a fish allergy or an egg allergy.
Right.
It's important to know that. I mean,
wow. But I have never ever heard that before. So I don't think, and I wouldn't say I'm a connoisseur of red wine, but I mean, I thought I knew about wine. I mean, if I didn't know, then most people probably don't know. That's scary.
Yeah. But again, it just comes back to, understanding what you're drinking, and I'm of the mind that you have a right to know what you're putting in your body,
I agree. I'm a little concerned to go to another happy hour. Or I'll order something else. I don't know.
I know, I'm not trying to spoil all other wines. And, and there are some smaller vineyards that are doing the right thing,
Oh, okay. So there are some of the commercial ones that are better than others.
Yeah. I mean, I think most of the, the large big box ones, they're doing the additives, they're doing the chemicals, they're probably using the fish byproducts and the egg whites. But, if you get more like smaller craft vineyards, they're probably doing more traditional winemaking.
Would you say that maybe vineyards that are local to you are more likely to not have the additives because they're likely distributing it widely? Okay.
More likely, but you don't know 100% unless you go and find out from the vineyard, and it's whether they're going to be forthcoming about it or not. Hard to say.
Yeah. Well, so if people can get the wine, only get the Scout and Cellar wine through a distributor, is there a way for them to, and especially now in COVID, is there a way for them to try it first, to taste it? Do you host parties? Do you host virtual parties?
Yes, we do, as a matter of fact. So right now we're doing virtual wine tastings. When the weather gets a bit nicer, which looks like it's on the horizon, thank goodness, we'll do outdoor parties, like in someone's backyard or driveway. It's a nice way to get together safely outside. But even if you can't get it together outside, we do virtual ones, which are a lot of fun. And we do different things like a wine and chocolate pairing, or I'm putting together like a wine and paint night. So they're not only like ways to educate you and learn about the wine and try the wine, but we like to make it fun as well, since we all need a little bit more fun right now. Definitely.
Yeah.
So we can do really any different type of thing. I mean, I just try to always come up with new ideas to keep it fun and interesting and get people together, because at the end of the day, like, wine brings people together. And you get that sense of community, even if it's only virtually, it brings people together, especially now when we all need a little sense of community.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, it's a lighthearted, no pressure way to bring people together and just have fun.
Exactly. I mean, who's going to turn down wine tasting and either chocolate or painting or anything? Who's going to turn that down?
No, that's the way to my heart right there. Wine and chocolate. Done. Good.
But I know what to send you.
No, I need to have one of these parties sometime, because this sounds like, I wish I knew about this previously, pre-COVID, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll make it work.
You know about it now, and we can,
exactly.
And believe me, it's still fun online, and you can still, you can still have a lot of fun.
Now, a couple of follow-up questions about that. One, I thought of a great idea, wine with trivia.
Yes.
There's this app that I discovered during COVID. I went to a networking event, and everybody just downloads this app, and you just have to be
fun.
Yeah. So we should totally do that.
Yeah. I love that idea.
I'm competitive. I'm competitive pre and post wine, but probably, well, we'll just leave it at that. But in terms of the virtual parties, can you explain to everybody how it works? Because with COVID, people might not have been to a virtual party, or some other companies that do virtual parties, I know for a fact, don't necessarily give you any samples of anything. So can you explain how Scout and Cellar, how a virtual party with Scout and Cellar would work?
Sure. So there's a couple of ways that it can work. Ultimately, if the hostess is local and all of her guests are local, what would usually happen is I would ship her a 4-bottle tasting set, and then she would then put into individual samplers. Usually we have these little test tubes that we use, and then put little labels on them. And that way everyone would be delivered from the hostess, or come pick up from the hostess, however she would like to do it. And use the little test tubes as the little samplers. So everybody has their little personal little test tube of wine. Usually it's 4 wines that they can use for the night we hop on the Zoom. And then if there's a chocolate pairing, we usually, we have a number of different chocolate vendors that we work with that they would just ship again right to them, and then they would disperse to their guests. Now, if the guests are all spread out, or the hostess doesn't want to have the responsibility of doing the individual tastings, then what we normally would say is to order one of our gift sets, because that comes with free shipping. So that's a nice way to be able to get 2 full bottles of wine, and we'll use those for the tasting instead of doing the individuals. It just depends. I mean, I'm always willing to work with people and see what makes the most sense for them, and obviously, what's going to be most cost effective for them.
Mm-hmm. And does the hostess get any benefits or prizes? Because I've been to some parties before. So why should somebody host a party?
Well, I mean, the great thing about Scout and Cellar hosting, and I'm not trying to put down any other wine at home companies, everybody has their own model. But most of those wine at home companies, you have to purchase the wine. So when you have a party, you have to, output about usually $125 or something to buy the wine for your party.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. So Scout and Cellar does it differently in that we will provide you a 4-bottle tasting set for your party at no cost.
Done. I'm sold. Why would you not?
Exactly. Well, because we figure we want people to be able to try it and enjoy it before they have to invest. And we hope afterwards, that we'll have lots of people who love Scout and Cellar and will become lifelong customers of ours. And we also, everything with Scout and Cellar is direct to consumer. So you don't have to worry about, going to the store and getting anything. Everything is ordered online and sent right to you. As well as we have a wine club that you can do, which is a great way to get a lot of different varieties of wine. And it's a super flexible wine club, so you're not locked in. A lot of wine clubs, you have to do a year commitment. Ours is very flexible. It's either every month, every other month, every quarter, and you can choose the number of bottles, and you can pause it or cancel it at any time. So it's a really friendly, user-friendly wine club.
I didn't even ever think about joining a wine club. I'm getting all these ideas.
I'm giving you lots to think about today.
Well, it's a good thing it's the end of the day. And again, I don't have any Scout and Cellar wine, so what am I going to do? I actually pulled up the website because I can screen share, unless you want to pull it up, Tara, so you can direct people to specific places on the website. Do you want to pull up the website? All you need to do on your end is hit share screen, and I just approve it.
Why am I not seeing a share screen? Oh, okay, I see it.
So what you do, you'll all learn how StreamYard works by watching us do this.
There we go.
Just go to the website and then click share screen, and then an option is going to pop up, and it's going to ask you which thing you want to share. So you click Chrome tab if you're using Chrome, and then click on that website, and then I will have to approve it since I'm the host.
Okay, I'm going to pull up the website so that I'm in the right place. And making sure that I tell them I'm over 21, because I am.
Oh, I know I do.
Share screen. Share screen. Chrome tab. Okay. Oops.
I'm just looking at the website, everybody, and Tara.
I'm trying. I am trying.
Oh no, it's I can bring it up if you want me to.
I think I got it now.
Okay.
Let's see. All right. Can you see that?
Yes. Okay. I'm adding it to the stream. Okay. So Tara has pulled up the Scout and Cellar website, and I'm just going to have her direct us through the website. Any place you want us in particular to look, the different wines, information about parties, or anything like that. You just, we can see that you're scrolling down. So anything you do on the site.
Perfect. So I actually just want to mention this because this is like a new one of our sets, which is just so much fun. It's called Mix Track, and it actually comes with its own Spotify playlist, which I love.
That's so awesome.
Oops. You guys, I'll let you guys listen to that later, but it's so fun. It's our first ever collaboration with Spotify, so that each different wine that we have is on that set is its own Spotify playlist, which is so much fun. And then there's also a great video on here that you guys can also go down to, which is like the Grape to Glass video, which is all about what makes Scout and Cellar different, which I love. And then just when you go in, you can learn about our wine club, and then you can go in and look at all the different things. One great thing that's different about us is we have cans, which is great for when you just want to have one glass and you don't want to open a whole bottle. It's a lot of fun. And we have a bubbly, our red is back in stock, which is good. So we've got a red wine, we've got a white wine, we've got bubbly white, bubbly rosé. And especially for bubbly, when you only want one glass of bubbly, there's nothing worse than having to open up a whole bottle of bubbly and feel like you have to drink it all. I mean, not that that's a necessarily bad thing, but if you don't want it all at the time, it's great.
I've had I think every bottle of champagne that I have ever opened or been with people when we opened has gone to waste.
Yeah, because it's like you don't necessarily want to drink all of it at once. So I love that we have the sparkling cans. It's just a lot of fun.
And it goes bad quickly, champagne. Like red wine, I think, can keep a little longer than champagne.
Exactly. And then the one thing I do actually want to say about our red wines, and this is true for most red wines, but ours really need to be aerated or, open up for like an hour before you drink them. They really need that oxygenation to really bring out the flavor. So that's really an important thing to do. And the other thing I just want to mention is rosés. I know a lot of people have a different feeling about rosés, like you either love them or you hate them. But the key to it is finding out what the base grape is. So if you like a certain red grape, then if it's that grape that is the base of the rosé, then you're going to like that rosé. So like the Gallivant rosé is a base of, I want to say Syrah and Zinfandel. Let me just double check here. Yes, it's a Syrah, Zinfandel, and a Barbara. So if you like those wines typically, then you're going to like that Gallivant rosé. If you don't like those wines typically, then you should look for a different rosé, like the Dove Hunt Dog, which is very fruit forward. So people who like sweeter wines, I say go for something like that, because although the residual sugar is very low, it is so fruit forward that it really tastes sweeter than it is. And you can look by price, you can look by brands, you can look by flavor, you can shop by collection or region. Our grapes are sourced from all over the world. So these two happen to be California, but we've got France here. We've got a lot of California. We've got some South America on here right now. So there's really something for everyone. And I just really recommend you kind of go in and kind of take a look and see what you like. Any of the ones that say Circle exclusive, these are for people who are in our wine club. So these are smaller lot wines that we don't have a ton of. So we only make them available to our wine club members. But that's another benefit of being in our wine club.
So tell me about the wine club again. You pay to join and you get a certain number of bottles, per month? I mean, can you tell us again how that works?
Sure. So basically you get to choose your wine. So you can choose whether you want red, white, or mixed. You can choose how many bottles you want. So there's either a 4-bottle set, which I get the 4-bottle set every month, which is 2 bottles of red and 2 bottles of white. To me, that's just a great way to try different wines each month that I might not otherwise try. And I've definitely found some that I absolutely love that I never would have thought I loved. You can also do 6 bottles of either red, white, or mixed. And then the 12 bottles, you can either do mixed or all red or, mixed or all red for the 12 bottles. But then you can choose whether you want to get it every month, whether you want to get it every other month, or whether you want to get it once quarterly. And it's very flexible. Like I said, you can pause it at any time. If you decide like, oh, I'm going on vacation and I want to send it to where I'm going on vacation. I mean, when we can travel again, you can do that. So it's super flexible. All the wines are personally chosen by Sarah, who is our founder. And like I said, you also get access to all the ones that say Scout Circle on our website, which are the exclusive ones just for the members.
I'm going to have to look into that later.
But it's nice because it's really flexible, and that's what I love about it. You're never locked in. Like, people don't like things that they're locked into, right? So you decide like, oh, I have too much wine this month, which said no one ever, but just in case, you can pause it and say, hey, you know what, I don't want it this month. I'll pause it until next month, or pause it till whenever. So it's super flexible, but I do think it's a great way to try a lot of different wines.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Wait, I can't see the pricing.
The pricing is, I don't know why it's not on here. It's probably when you click through, but basically it's $89 for the 4-bottle set. And then it is $129 for the white 6-bottle, $139 for the red bottle, and then $279 for the 12-bottle.
So it makes sense to buy it in bulk.
It does. I mean, you're getting...
That's the quickest I've ever done math when we're talking about wine. I'm like, what's the better deal?
It does make sense because, you're going to get bottles that are worth more than what you're actually paying in the monthly fee, because you're going to get a range of different bottles. So it's definitely, to me, the most economical way to get our wines. And you can, and like I said, you can always, even when you have the Scout Circle, if there's bottles that you definitely know you want to try, you can always do an a la carte order. A la carte orders are always welcome. And again, a great way to try all of our different wines. But I mean, we always have about 30 wines on the site usually. They're rotating usually every few months, just depending on the size of the lot that we have. But usually they're on usually for about 2 to 3 months before we get, additional wines in. But usually every first and third Wednesday of the month, we release new wines.
Okay. Oh, so new wines came out today.
Yes. So we had the Gallivant Chardonnay came out today, which is more of the traditional oaky, buttery Chardonnay that people love. I mean, that one sells so well. People were dying for that to come back in stock. So that came back today. And the Gallivant Rosé, which is another big seller, came back today as well. So those were the two that were launched today.
Okay.
And
Wow.
I should say that our gift sets, like all of our gift sets, always ship free. So that's also a great way to try the wine if you don't want to worry about paying shipping. Otherwise, it's free shipping for 6 bottles or more. And then with 6 bottles or more, you also get a 5% discount. And 12 bottles or more, you get a 10% volume discount and free shipping.
I am looking at the gift sets right now. The Celebrate the Everyday Gift Set Red, $69. Ordering 6 or more bottles and packs of cans. We like your style. Thank you. I like my style too.
And a little tip, if you do order a gift set, you can add on, or at least you used to be able to, hopefully now that they just recently changed the shipping, but usually you can add on at least 1 or 2 bottles for free shipping as well when you order a gift set.
Oh, okay. Well, I know what website I'm looking at later.
Yeah, and the Celebrate the Everyday, those are good wines. I like both of those. The Pinot Noir is a really nice light Pinot Noir.
I like Pinot Noir.
I like that one. I think it's a really nice one. But I'm always, like I said, I'm always available to people to give recommendations or talk through what they usually drink, so I can steer them in the right direction, because obviously we always want people to have a good experience. But the other thing too is we do have a satisfaction guarantee. So if you get a wine that you absolutely can't stand and you're not going to drink it, we'll do the right thing and we'll either replace it with something else or give you a credit. So we're all about doing the right thing.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. I mean, there's a trifecta. I don't see why somebody wouldn't host a party and try Scout and Cellar wine. One, it doesn't have any additives, and I don't even remember all the words, the chemicals added to it. 2, you don't have to pay for the wine when you host a virtual party. I had no idea that other companies did that. And number 3, a satisfaction guarantee. How can you go wrong?
You can't.
I'm selling the product for you.
You can't go wrong. That's the beauty of it.
I tell you guys that are watching the replay, because I'm going to be replaying this for sure. So I'm definitely going to be hosting a party. I mean, this sounds like a lot of fun. And like you said, I mean, we need more fun during COVID and things, even with restrictions loosening, everything changes every day. And who knows, how long it's going to be before we can get back to having real parties in our houses without breaking rules,
Exactly. So let's have fun the way we can for right now.
Exactly. I'm just going to recap everything, and then I'll turn it back over to you, Tara, if you want to leave everybody with anything else. So, I mean, I say frequently that, I learned a lot. I didn't know that. But this time, I mean, I really did learn a lot, and I was shocked. So Tara OBrien from Scout and Cellar Wine, if you missed Scout and Cellar Clean Crafted Wine, if you missed the beginning, the company is about 3 years old, and they are different from traditional big box wine companies because they don't put additives and chemicals and filter the wine with fish byproducts and egg yolks or some disgusting things that I did not even know until today. And that could be a reason that people get headaches from drinking other types of wine because of the chemicals, something that I never thought about before. And I'm definitely going to be looking at labels. Oh, and apparently the FDA doesn't require, at least as of when we're recording this, that information be on wine labels. So I think a lot of people don't know. So if you missed that part of the video, definitely go back and listen to it because it is concerning. And so you would buy the Scout and Cellar wine through a distributor like Tara. And you can also host now in COVID, virtual parties, and then after COVID, real parties, or in the warm weather parties outside. And you don't have to pay for the wine. Apparently other companies, you have to buy the bottles before the party, but with Scout and Cellar, they provide 4 bottles. And you can do it with people locally, or you can have it shipped to other people. I don't want to get into too many details about that. And they have a wine club, and you can buy gift sets. And I'm actually going to put the link to the website in the comments here. So just to recap, if you guys missed any part of this or the beginning, And and there's also a satisfaction guarantee. So if you hate the wine, you can either get credit or they'll replace it with something else. And yeah, if you join the wine club, you can pause it. Anyway, Tara, I should let you talk about your company, but
no, you did a great job. You did a great job recapping everything. You get an A for listening.
And another, what I didn't mention, the parties, you can do just wine, you can do wine and chocolate, you can do like wine and other types of theme. Tara is working on like a wine and painting, like a sip and swirl kind of a thing. I know that's what some bars used to call them. Anyway, I'm going to quit talking. Tara, is there anything else you want to say before we go?
I just want to say, please feel free to reach out to me. Maybe I can put my contact information in the chat underneath afterwards, but feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about hosting a wine tasting or, want to have some fun. We were talking about a fun, maybe trivia night. Wine can be put with so many different fun things, and it's just really about having some connection and some fun while we're still in this COVID time. Mm-hmm. But I'm also here for any wine recommendations, or you have other questions about the wine. Definitely feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to be a resource for you.
Well,
and thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I'm really glad that we did this. I learned so much, and I think a lot of people, could benefit from not only just drinking wine that is better for you and doesn't have those chemicals in it, but from the fun opportunities that you get to try it before you buy it, basically by hosting a party. So thank you so much. I'm really glad that that you came on the show today. So I really appreciate your time, and I will be in touch about scheduling a party.
Great. Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Tara, you hang on 1 second after I end the broadcast because we can still stay here. But thanks everybody for tuning in. And if you have any questions or you have questions that you're watching the replay later, still feel free to put them in the comments because we will get notified and we'll get back to you. So thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.